What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the most important plays to watch out for in the market for this week. Tom will not be with us today. He will be back in a couple days, though. But we have a solid episode for everyone. We're going to be going over some solid plays, important news, some earnings to watch out for, and then a $2.2 million options trade towards the end of the video. Make sure to stick around for that. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I post brand new videos every single day, but let's get right into it. So last week, the market had a wild ride. It broke all-time highs, but towards, you could say on Thursday and Friday, we saw a good amount of selling pressure. If we look intraday on the SPY, it just had a lot of pretty steep drops, especially on Friday. So Friday was pretty bad in general. We saw a lot of stocks finish pretty deep in the red. Nvidia finished down over 4%. Penn was down a good amount too, also around 4%. Baidu, DAL, Upwork, BLNK, Boeing was down. There were so many stocks that were red on Friday, and it was just kind of like a bloodbath. So basically right now, the market is extremely close to its all-time highs. We have a lot of tech stocks that brought the market to these crazy high levels. I've been saying this nonstop for the past 2 weeks, but stocks like Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft are trading at crazy levels right now, and really Nvidia is so overextended from its upcoming stock split. I love them for the long term. They're a solid company. They are just overbought. And a lot of other tech stocks, since they have such a huge influence on the market overall, it really just elevates the market in general. We can see when we look at the NASDAQ, some of the most heavily weighted stocks in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are some of these crazy overbought tech stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and you get it. So Nvidia is up there too. So the main thing I'm watching out for this week is this continued tech sell-off. There's just negative selling sentiment, you can say, in the market right now. Nvidia is still bleeding. The next major support is around 700 for them. But what's really kind of shocking, or what's very interesting to see, I should say, is how these cruise lines and airlines are just getting demolished. If we look at CCL, they hit highs of around $31.50 a couple months ago, and now they're around $21 each. There has just been a crazy selling spree over the past couple weeks with cruise lines, but also airlines. If we look at DAL, it's been slowly fading off from 52 down to 40. These should be a pretty good dip buy soon. I still think we're a little bit too early, just like I've been saying with Penn, but they're definitely on my radar. Even stocks like Boeing, they're kind of trading a decent amount off their all-time highs. So maybe in a couple weeks, I'll definitely consider buying into them. But, they're definitely on my watch list. And then we also have a lot of earnings coming up this week. If we look at the earnings whispers calendar right now, we can see that we're definitely in for a crazy week. We have Netflix on Tuesday, United, what else? Verizon, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Las Vegas Sands, AT&T, Snapchat, Southwest. So we definitely have some pretty big earnings this week. Here is the calendar for everyone. I'll enlarge it a little bit. But yeah, so definitely Netflix will be a big one on Tuesday. Let's take a look at their chart. I remember last week they announced that they are going to be adding a gaming division or a gaming section to their services, and Netflix shot up in after hours on Wednesday, and it just kind of sold off throughout the rest of the week. But I think that should be a pretty solid catalyst for them. So definitely keep Netflix on your radar. We're just definitely in for a crazy week. And then let's take a look at some of these upcoming momentum plays for this week. Pinterest is definitely on my list. It finished down around 2% on Friday. It had just a slow and steady sell-off throughout the day. I know my bot, it was calling puts on it around here, and it ended up continuing. It just took a couple hours, but it ended up being a good play overall. For Pinterest, I would definitely watch this $68.40 level. If it can break below that come Monday morning, it should be a decent setup for a day trade to the downside. And then with the next one, we have CCL. This one's been selling off a lot. It's kind of like the same setup with pins. For CCL, I would watch for a break below $20.80. And then with the next one, we have GPS, which is down around 5% today. Again, same setup as Pinterest and CCL. I would really watch this $28.25 level. Even if we look on the daily chart, there's been a lot of selling pressure with this one, and it's just looking pretty bad in general. Really, I highly recommend to have like hedges or some way to protect yourself, or your portfolio, I should say, especially if you have a high concentration of like either tech stocks or tech call options. Some of these stocks are trading at crazy levels, and like we saw back in, you could say, September of 2020, when Apple and Tesla had their run up because of their stock split, not only did Apple and Tesla just fall off the board a couple days later, but a lot of other tech stocks did too, and just the NASDAQ overall. If we look on September 1st, this is right when Apple and Tesla split. Like the couple days after that, the QQQ went from like 300 all the way down to like below 270. So just watch out, guys. Please make sure you're protecting yourself in some way, whether it be like covered calls, puts, or trading other like correlated assets. It's always good to have hedges in place. And then we have a 2.2. So here's for the unusual options activity for this week. We have a $2.2 million trade on mRNA. The smart money got in the mRNA $270 put options for this Friday, and this one is a very unique situation. What's very unique about it is that it is like $16 out of the money, and it's a weekly play. So I would initially think that the smart money is shorting this specific put option, mainly because it's so far out of the money. This option is pretty deep out of the money. And mRNA is just trending up right now, and it has a ton of momentum. We could see in the past when it goes on these breakouts, like if, for example, if we look on, let's say like the beginning or like the end of, let's say the end of November of 2020, it broke out and it just kept running. You can say the same thing towards the end of January and, basically in the beginning of June as well. So I really doubt the smart money is shorting these. I really doubt the smart money is longing these puts. I think that they are shorting them as like a cash secured put or something along those lines. It just has so much momentum, and the options are pretty far out of the money. So now let's get right into our Discord member of the day. Today's member of the day is Racha Gam. So he made a pretty solid post in the Profits channel. He said 2 days of AlphaBot for the win, and it looks like he was up like $3,200, and he had a lot of great solid trades in here, like almost $2,000 on Nvidia, 400 Apple, SPY, awesome trade. Small loss on Pinterest, but besides that, awesome job. Great job overall. If you guys want to trade with the bots and then Tom and myself every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below. Of course, the bots don't win every single trade, but they have been doing very, very well. Daily options, swing trades, day trades, unusual options activity, you name it, we probably have it. We have a ton of great bots. A lot of them are custom, and overall the bots have been just doing an amazing job. Options trades, options day trades, every single day. Definitely check it out. In the worst case scenario, you can just cancel at any time. Again, it's that first link in the description down below. But now let's get right into these comments from the previous episode. With the first comment, we have Hunter saying, would be sweet to see DraftKings start to recover, that's for sure. Sold my puts that I bought on them and Palantir the other day, hoping that the stocks recover now. Yeah, I mean, some of these stocks have been just getting demolished. A lot of selling pressure has been in the market over the past couple months, you can say. Some of these stocks like Neo, Palantir, DraftKings, and a lot of other ones, you could say Zoom even, they had nice recoveries, but they did not retest their all-time highs like some of these stocks like Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, and Amazon did. But they were making decent recoveries, but they're definitely struggling right now, especially stocks like Palantir, DraftKings, Zoom, I believe even Redfin. I love them all for the long term, but it just sucks, to see all this selling pressure. Ultimately, it's just a buying opportunity for the long term. With the next question, we have Brian saying, still in that SQQQ position. Need everyone to freak out and panic sell more tech stocks tomorrow. So SQQQ can be a pretty good hedge if you are holding some like long tech stocks, or if you just want to play tech stocks to the downside. Basically, when the QQQ is falling, SQQQ will rise. So overall, it's definitely a pretty solid hedge. And if we do continue to see like the crazy sell-off that we have been seeing, then this thing can definitely pop. If we look back, let's say, let me go on like a couple year chart. Like we can see back in, let's say we go to February and March of 2020, this thing went from like 80 bucks all the way up to like 160. So a nice double with all the crazy selling pressure that we saw back in February and March of last year. And then with the next question, we have Muscle saying, rough day for NVIDIA, but no worries. Good buying opportunity, awesome company. Love the run up, but all good into the split next week. Nice wrap, Mike. Keep up the great work. So thanks for that comment. NVIDIA is a solid company, but yeah, they're definitely pulling back now. Yeah, they're an awesome company. I love them for the long term, but they're definitely pretty overbought. And then with the next comment, we have Rich saying, I'm glad you brought up Penn. I've been adding in and got a good average at $71 and excited to see where this goes in the next few months. BABA, I averaged down now to 212. So overall, I may not have made a huge profit this week, but I'm happy with my position in setting up for the near future. For sure. I mean, no one loves it's hard to buy into some of these dips. Like I remember when like Neo was tanking off, like, went from like $65 down to, let's say 35. And, let's say I remember some people in the Discord were like averaging in around like $40 each or like $42 each. And then it would just keep tanking and tanking. And it's hard to buy these stocks when, they're selling off, because most of the time you don't catch the bottom. But ultimately, if you're buying into solid companies at good prices, it should definitely pay off for the long term. And I think that you're doing both of those things with Penn and BABA. So it should be pretty solid. I really like Penn. I still think we're a little bit too early, and I'm probably going to sell some puts on Penn this week. I didn't pick an exact strike yet, but I was kind of looking at like the 63 puts for this week, maybe 62 or so. Then with the next comment, let's see. With the next comment, we have Jay saying mRNA was on fire. This thing has been exploding. Now, I know that they have some news about being added to the S&P. One thing to keep in mind is, on average, when stocks have that news that they're going to be added to a major indice, they'll normally like run up and have a lot of momentum in the short term. But in the long term, they normally pull back at least to the level where the news was announced. So for example, let's just say, for a super easy example, let's say the news of mRNA being added to the S&P 500 was $250. And let's say mRNA runs up to 300. It might have that explosive movement in the short term, but on average, in the long term, mRNA, or just stocks that are being added to the S&P, normally pull back to that $250 level or go even lower. So it's just an interesting statistic, just with the S&P 500 inclusions and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's the main wrap up for this week. There hasn't been any crazy news in the market right now. Really, we're just seeing that sell off with like some of these crazy overbought tech stocks like NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft. Some stocks that I'm looking to add to pretty soon are Penn, you could say Boeing, maybe Baidu, maybe the cruise lines and airlines as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget, if you want to trade with the bots, Tom and myself, every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.